to make something change in our life, a successful habit, you need to be able to use the power of your mind to rewire the brain. And that's not a quick fix. And we live in an age where we know technologically it's just so easy to get so much information at your fingertips, but we gather information like puzzle pieces, but we don't take the time to build the puzzle, to think deeply. My work has been in brain research for the last specifically mind brain research over the last 30 years, and looking at how the power of our minds can change our physical structure of our brain and therefore improve our life and improve our health and our mind health and so on. Worked with all kinds of different patients and so on. I explained that in the book that you're referring to. I've written plenty of books. And the one that you're referring to, where the 21-day detox is in, is this book, Switch on Your Brain. And then I've also got an updated version of the process in this book, which we released this week globally, called Think, Learn, Succeed, which we released on Tuesday around the world, which we're very excited about. So basically, I studied the science of thoughts to see how a thought forms, because our mind is not our brain. Our mind is separate from our brain. And that's very important to understand, that our mind is not our brain. And our brain is only a physical substance it's a responder to the mind. The mind is 90 to 99% of who we are. So when we talk about the non-conscious mind, and you mentioned the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, those are three different things. And they're very important when it comes to building habits, building long-term memories, which are different things. And in terms of the whole science of thought, the physical side, which is our brain and our body, is only about maximum 10% of who we are. So most of the stuff is done in our mind. You need both brain and mind. We express ourselves through our brain and our body. But to make something change in our life, a successful habit, like I call my latest book, Think, Learn, Succeed, you need to be able to use the power of your mind to rewire the brain. And that's not a quick fix. And we live in an age where we know technologically it's just so easy to get so much information at your fingertips, but we gather information like puzzle pieces, but we don't take the time to build the puzzle, to think deeply. And if you don't think deeply, you don't activate the non-conscious stores of your mind correctly, where our memories are stored, and then they won't move to the subconscious, which is just below consciousness, and then they won't move into the conscious mind, or they'll move in a very haphazard way. So essentially the time it takes to really gather up knowledge in your mind that you have in order to build new information, which is coming in from what you've read and what you're experiencing, does take time. There's no quick fix. It's good old-fashioned hard work. To build a long-term memory takes 21 days, and it takes minimum of 21 days. And that's daily, deliberate, intentional mind work, not just random, chaotic response, reactive thinking. It's very deliberate and intentional thinking for at least 7 to 16 minutes a day. And then after 21 days of doing that, you would then have a long-term memory. But that long-term memory doesn't have sufficient energy yet to move into a conscious mind to impact how you function. So to turn something into something that does that, which is actually what a habit is, takes another 42 days minimum. So you're looking at least 63 days to build a thought that's going to make effective lifelong change in one's life. So that's hence the name of my 21-day brain detox, is basically our brain and body work in cycles of 21 days. But it's never just one cycle. It's at least 3 cycles for each change that you want to make.
Thank you for watching. Just a quick reminder to grab your gift pack for entrepreneurs in the link below. It's a gift pack for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 Rand, free of charge. All you need to do is activate it. Part of that gift pack for entrepreneurs is a voucher of 3 months for 3 months free accounting services from a company, Dryk Holdings. All you need to do is activate the gift pack voucher in the link below, and we will be in contact with you as soon as you've done that. Thank you for watching, and back to the interview.
I don't have a morning ritual. I have a ritual that I continue through the day. So I try not just have it as something I start. I try to have a carryover effect during the course of the day as well. So the 21-day detox that I do in here, I'm always doing a detox because we always need to be dealing with issues. So you take one thought over 21 days times 3, and you're working on that toxic issue. So you work on, and you spend about 7 minutes on that. So I'm always, normally when I get ready in the morning, I do that. And then obviously, besides healthy eating, I have a book called Think and Eat Yourself Smart, where I talk about how we need to eat real food mindfully. And there's some really great tips in there about eating, because if you don't feed your brain and your body, you're going to be sitting with a problem as well. And then the other thing that's very important is, I do the daily tips, the activation tips in the mindset section here. There's a whole lot of them. There's 15 mindsets with 15 activation tips. Those are excellent things to do in the morning. So like you say, gratitude, there's a gratitude mindset. And what people can do is they can study the concepts of the mindset, maybe read it the night before, even over a period of 7 days, read a little paragraph a day or something, and then apply a mindset activation tip. And then you could work through the 15. So you could honestly stretch that out over a 4 or 5 month period and really train yourself to stay in the important mindsets. And that's what I do. I work on the mindsets on a daily basis. So those are just a couple of the routines that I find very effective. Because if you don't get your mind right, yes, the exercise is vital. I'm not saying don't do that. I talk about that. The eating is vital. But I start my day with get the detoxing going, because the detox will block, and get the right mindsets in, because the mindsets that you have that day in the morning and during the course of the day will either launch you through that day in a positive way or put you into toxic stress and hold you back. So, and then the other thing that I do a lot of is I practice self-regulation. I practice self-examination. Like Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. So being aware of self-regulation is a vital component. We need to constantly, and we're designed to self-regulate every 10 seconds, which I teach in this book, how we've got to self-regulate every 10 seconds. And that's 6 times a minute. We should be checking what we're thinking, feeling, and choosing, and how we're responding. Meditation is a vital component of any human function. In my thinker mindset, which is one of the first mindsets, if you don't actually take time every day to meditate, to think deeply, to just be aware of your surroundings, and just to switch off to the external and switch on to your mind, your brain will actually break down. The circuits in your brain will actually pull apart. And if you want to take it from a Christian perspective, David meditated. So meditation is just getting in that space where you find out what's going on in your head and get order in your thoughts, and also get creative. And it's fantastic for boosting brain health, and for boosting creativity, and for boosting mind health. We should do it frequently during the course of a day. Like very often I'm in a meeting and I'll go zone in and out into a thinker moment, into a meditative moment, or to reboot the brain. And then also frequently during the day, at least 15 to 16 minute period in the day I'll take. And I recommend that, and that's what the research shows, to just meditate with nothing, no phones, computers, nothing, just relaxing. Just meditate, just getting your mind, it becomes very active. When you switch off to the external, the internal networks of your brain really become very active. So it's a vital and healthy and very important human function. The danger of using social media incorrectly is that we designed for deep intellectual thought. So if you're constantly scrolling through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and never really reading an article in depth, or really thinking about something in depth, you actually cause this firing up, and it's an unsettling kind of pattern that you create in your brain that makes you feel almost anxious and unsettled. So that's why it's better to say, okay, I'm going to do social media now, I'm going to do my emails now, I'm going to do this now, and then put it down. And so you have very disciplined times during your day, that you don't constantly get on your phone in a very reactive way. It must be more planned, more organized. In fact, in this book, both of these books, I talk about social media from different angles, and I have examples and activation tips on how to manage social media in your life. And it's one of the very big tips you'll see I keep on stressing is regulate everything. Don't just randomly do it. It's so easy just to carry your cell phone around, and to just respond to every beep and little noise that comes off the phone and keep looking at it. Discipline yourself. Don't look at it that often. Time it. That I'm going to look at social media in these time periods during the day, and try and stick to that, and try and limit the amount of time, and try and also, another thing that I brought my kids up doing, and I train a lot of corporate environments, and I train in education, and I train in churches, and I train all over the world in different environments, is I always say, balance your reading with your social media. So in other words, like if you're going to be scrolling through, there's not much thinking that's involved there. So make sure that you read and think about what you've read. If you're reading using Kindle or your social media, try also grab a book sometimes and read out of a book. It's a very, very good experience for your brain. And not just read it, think about it. Stop, even if you read one page. Taking the time to stop and think is very, very important for brain health and mind health.